In studio, we have Anahi, a sixth grade student from Loudoun Elementary, doing some great work with percentages today. But now it is time for today's museum moment. And our museum moment today is being brought to you courtesy of Melissa and John from the Bakersfield Museum of Art.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for having us do the math. My name is Melissa Bañuelos, and I am the Curatorial Assistant at the Bakersfield Museum of Art. So as the Curatorial Assistant, I help with researching and preparing and installing traveling and permanent collection exhibitions.
And I am John Olivo, and I'm like head preparator for Curatorial and also educator for the museum. So that entails me often preparing works for the exhibition, hanging works, the upkeep of works, but also teaching as well.
Yeah.
All right, I think you guys have an activity right now, so.
Yeah, next slide, please. So today's activity is going to be based on our upcoming event, which is our Via Arté Italian Street Painting Festival, which will take place at the marketplace this weekend. So our activity will be using a grid to recreate a piece of art, which most or all artists use when they create their chalk art. So what is Via Arté, John?
So what is Via Arte? Next slide, please. Via Arte is an Italian street painting festival, and we do it every fall. And what's great about it, it brings a lot of artists together who do this kind of work, and it's an opportunity for the public to see what kind of talent we have around town as far as the Italian Chalk Festival.
Yeah, and this is our 22nd year, so we're really excited that we are able to hold it this year with some new safety standards. So we're gonna we have some new standards in place, and we're very excited to welcome both artists and spectators.
So the square size typically for this year will be 7 by 7 feet, and many artists will use crisscrossing lines to create a grid as well as to create the correct proportions of the piece that they are referencing.
Yeah. Next slide, please.
Now, before we move on, I know I was going to kind of let you guys go, but I got to just chime in here real quick.
Yeah.
What we're looking at is chalk art.
Yes.
These are not photos that you're downloading or anything like that. This is actual art from what artists have done, chalk art.
Yes.
This is by an artist named Jason Henderson. He created this piece last year. So this piece is actually 8 feet by 12 feet. So really big size square. So yeah, it's amazing how artists can use the chalk to manipulate it and create these stunning, like very graphic pieces of art. So this year, because of safety standards, every artist is going to be working on a 7 by 7 foot square. And today we're going to do an activity involving a 3 by 3 grid within a square. Next slide. So gridding the square. So here first is an example of artists on a 7 by 7 foot square. They often will use a reference photo, like the piece on the right, and they will draw their grid beforehand using pencil or pen or using Photoshop to create their grid so that they know how their piece should end up looking when they're done with their square. So this piece is actually a painting by Matisse, from the early 20th century. So that's just one example of a painting that artists can recreate. But first, with gridding the square, so we're working on a 7 by 7 foot square. But in order to create or to get precise measurements, we want to convert our feet into inches. So we have a formula here to solve for x. So we want to know how many inches there are in 7 feet. So we have this proportion set up for our student. So we can solve for x, and we'll know the total number, the total inches we'll be dealing with for each side of the square. So can we go to the previous slide, please? So if you want to go ahead and solve for x here, you can use our formula written, or if you want to write it down yourself, and we can use that proportion to solve for x.
So how would you do that, Anai?
So I would do, 12 inches equals 1 foot.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be equals 1.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have 7, so 12 equals 1 foot.
Mm-hmm.
So we would need,
So have you done cross multiplication yet?
yes.
Okay, so maybe you can do that, or you can do another way, whatever you'd like.
Okay. So 12 inches equals 1 foot. So we would need, let me see. So we would need,
There you go, right? Because you're going to multiply it by something, right?
yes. So it would be 12 times,
Because you know the 12 goes with the 1 foot, but how many feet do you want?
7 feet.
So that's where you're going to multiply the 12 by.
So 7 times 2 is 14. Carry the 1. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So,
All right, there you go. So
There
you've
we
got
go.
84 inches
yes.
for the 7 feet.
Yes.
Yes.
So that'll be 84 inches on each side. Great. So we can go to the next one. So now we can start with that first 84 inch side and divide by 3, because we are doing a 3 by 3 grid. So we want to divide 84 by 3, and then we will solve for x.
So 84
Mm-hmm.
times,
Well, you're going to divide by 3 this time.
oh. So we would do 84 divided by 3. 3 does not go into 84 equally. Wait. So it would be, wait. So it would be, sorry.
So you can get higher than that. So think about
Yes.
how many times will 3 go into 8 without going over it?
1 time.
Can it go twice?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So you're going to put your 2 up above the 8. There you go. And 3 times 2 is?
6.
Hey, now you got it. Keep going.
So it would be,
So you're going to subtract that 6, right?
yes, so 2.
There you go.
So this would be 6. Wait,
Got to bring down the 4.
yeah. Oh, I can't.
Oh, your eraser doesn't work on that?
No.
Just put an X through it then.
Okay.
That way we know it's all gone.
Okay. So we'd bring down the 4. This 24 can go into 3 8 times. So 8 times 3 is 24. So that would be 0. So our answer is 28.
Yeah, so x equals 28. So this is where our first line is going to be drawn. You can go to the next one. So you've got some little markers there. So going, you want to start with that top left one.
This one?
Yeah, you want to connect that all the way down to the bottom one, to the other marker.
And I can tell you right now, that was beautiful. Better than if Scott or I were trying to do a straight line, I can tell you that.
So that's going to be our first line at 28 inches.
Did I do this one?
Yeah, oh, we can go to the next slide real quickly
Okay.
so we can explain that. So yeah, to draw our second line, we're simply going to add another 28 inches. So 28 plus 28 will be,
So
So to help you out, we know that's going to be at 56,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So then we'll go to the next one.
There we go. Oh, the lines disappear. So if you want to reconnect that first one, and then we'll go ahead and do that second one as well. So that's our 28-inch mark.
There.
Beautiful. And then we've got our 56. So that'll be those next points. Great. So lastly, we will add another 28 inches.
Yes.
And that's going to give us 84. So
Yep.
that is the edge of the square, so we don't have to draw another line.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's draw those two lines one more time, and then so we have that in one direction, and we're simply going to repeat the process going, we have vertical, so going horizontally, and then we're going to get our square, gridded square. So then you want to connect the lines going the opposite direction. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Bottom one right there. Perfect. So by doing those calculations, we get a square that's perfectly gridded into a 3x3 grid. So drawing the image. What is an underdrawing, John?
So an underdrawing, when drawing the image after you have your grid lines, is pretty much like a sketch with the chalk. And it's like just there so that way you have your starting point, and that way you can accurately size out towards like referencing the image that you are using or are looking at. And so like as the artists begin to add colors and layers, the underdrawing and the grid lines tend to disappear because you're blending color, but also you're layering color. So it's just like a addition, subtraction thing where, you know, you're adding to subtract those lines in a way.
Yeah.
Instead of getting the big eraser out or something.
Right.
Exactly.
It's chalk.
Yeah, so these are just some more examples of drawing the image. So again, the artist who did the Doctor Strange piece, this is him 2 years ago, Jason Henderson. He's working on a Darth Vader image. So you can see he's using way more squares. So sometimes artists have to use 5x5 or 10x10 grid so that they can get a really accurate image. Another example of an artist named Frankie Anderson, drawing an eye. So chalk. So all artists who participate will receive one 48-count box of chalk. But sometimes artists need to use a lot of yellow or a lot of blue, so they often will bring their own chalk to the festival to make sure that they can complete their image.
And then this year for the kids' chalk, we have available a fourth of the amount of the colors that are available to the artists. So that's like only 12 within the box, and it'll be the main colors, mainly the primary and secondary colors, available for people or children who want to try this at home. And we will also have masks available after the event.
Yeah.
I do remember when Amy came in talking about the masks. So once again, the kids will get a box of 12 chalks, and they can do their art, and then the chalks are good for them to take with them, and they can do some more at home, correct?
Yes, that
All right,
is
well, you
correct.
know what? Melissa and John, we certainly do appreciate you taking out some time from the Bakersfield Museum of Art. Great math lesson involved with that art right there. And once again, Via Arte is going on this weekend, the 17th and 18th.
Yes.
And when can people, any hours or?
The event runs from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Entry is free, so definitely head out there if you have time. And another exciting news is that the museum will be reopening in 2 weeks to limited capacity, 25%. So we're very excited to be welcoming the public back into our space.
All right, good. Well, thank you once again. And that is today's Museum Moment.